Before anything else, drop a like right now and check that you're subscribed because it helps this content reach more Manchester City fans and make sure you don't miss any important updates about what really goes on behind the scenes at the club. With that done, take a deep breath because the last few hours have been intense, full of big decisions, direct messages from Pep Guardiola, and even a possible market move that nobody expected to see linked with City. The 2-0 win over Wolves was more than just 3 points. It was a clear response after a difficult few days, especially following that away defeat in the Champions League that shook the mood and set off internal alarm bells. Pep Guardiola knew he had to change things, not only tactically, but also mentally, and that's exactly what he did by making adjustments that caught a lot of people off guard. Seeing Erling Haaland and Phil Foden start on the bench isn't normal. They're two pillars of City's sporting project, players who represent not only the present but also the club's future. So when both were left out of the starting 18th against Wolves, the immediate reaction was shock. Many read it as a harsh message, almost a public telling off, but the reality, according to Pep himself, runs deeper and is more strategic. The manager made it clear the decision was far more about physical management and controlling minutes than any kind of punishment. The schedule remains brutal. The demands are relentless, and both Haaland and Foden had been piling up matches, travel, and fatigue. Pep understands that if he wants to keep City competitive on every front, he has to think beyond a single Saturday fixture. That opened the door for other names. Marmoush got the chance to start through the middle, something he hadn't experienced since returning from the Africa Cup of Nations. Alongside him, out wide, came Antoine Semenyo, one of the club's more recent bets, and Ryan Christie. It was a different, less obvious front three, but one packed with energy, movement, and hunger. And it didn't take long for the choice to look justified. In the opening minutes, City showed an aggressive posture, pressing high and hunting for a goal from the first whistle. Marmoush attacked the space intelligently and finished off a precise cross from Matheus Nunes to open the scoring. It was one of those goals that changes the feel of an entire stadium and validates a technical decision in seconds. The psychological impact was immediate. Wolves felt it, City grew, and confidence began to return. Just before halftime, Antoine Semenyo popped up again to make it 2-0. It was his third goal in a City shirt, a number that may still be modest, but already shows how quickly he's adapting to Pep Guardiola's demanding style. After the match, as expected, every question centered on Haaland and Foden. Pep didn't dodge it. He was direct, honest, and demanding at the same time. He admitted he needs more from both, especially in the attacking phase. The goal numbers have dipped slightly in recent weeks, and when that happens, City feel it. There's no point pretending otherwise. At the same time, the manager reinforced that he fully trusts them. Haaland remains the squad's main attacking reference even during a less explosive spell. Foden, for his part, keeps delivering performance, intensity, and game intelligence, even if the goals aren't coming as frequently as before. Pep didn't panic, but he made it clear he expects an on-pitch response. That win over Wolves also carried extra weight in the table. City managed to close the gap on Arsenal, keeping the fight for the top alive. It isn't just about points, it's about the feeling. After an unstable period, the team started projecting solidity, control, and competitiveness again, which is the trademark of Guardiola's side. Inside the club, there's a sense that competition in attack can lift everyone's level. Semenyo has arrived putting pressure on places. Marmoush has returned and made his case, and that creates an environment where nobody can coast. For Pep, that's the ideal scenario. Players fighting for spots, bringing intensity, and offering different solutions depending on the opponent. Haaland, who started the season at a devastating pace, now looks like he's managing his body more carefully. There's no doubt he'll be back in the starting 11 for the biggest matches, especially in the Champions League. The Galatasaray tie is already on the horizon as a key moment, and Pep knows he'll need the best version of the Norwegian. Foden also remains central to the plans. His versatility allows tactical tweaks, whether he plays inside or out wide. Even when he isn't deciding games with goals, he influences matches in other ways, something the manager values highly. The message was clear. Rest now. Demand more later. Meanwhile, names like Marmoush are using every minute to show they can be more than just alternatives. His performance against Wolves wasn't only efficient, it was symbolic. It showed the squad has depth and that City don't depend exclusively on 2 or 3 players to function. This kind of squad management, cold, calculated, and long-term, is one of the reasons City stay at the top year after year. Pep doesn't make decisions based on outside noise, but on what he believes will maximize collective performance across the season. And it's exactly within this context of planning, ambition, and market awareness that another story has started circulating behind the scenes and left many people intrigued. Because while City reorganize on the pitch, the club remain alert to opportunities off it that could completely reshape the squad landscape. Manchester City never work only with the immediate present. While the team try to keep pressure on in the title race and steady themselves after recent swings, the football department is always looking a few steps ahead. That's precisely why, in recent days, information has emerged that caught the eye even of supporters used to ambitious moves. According to reports coming out of European circles, City may have begun exploratory conversations involving a world-class name for the defensive line. This isn't a formal negotiation yet, nor a concrete bid, but rather scenario mapping, something the club often do when they identify a potential opening in the market. And the name in question is Trent Alexander-Arnold. The very association between Manchester City and Trent is enough to cause shock. He's a player deeply tied to Liverpool's recent history, academy-made, a symbol of a winning generation, and one of the most influential fullbacks in Premier League football over the last decade. So any possibility of him wearing another English shirt would already be surprising. Seeing him linked to City takes that surprise to another level. The current context helps explain why the rumor gained traction. After leaving Liverpool and moving to Real Madrid, Trent has had a more turbulent period than many expected. Between injuries, adapting to the Spanish game, and internal competition, he hasn't cemented himself as anticipated. That sparked questions from both the press and sections of the Madrid fan base. Even so, people close to the player suggest he still wants to conquer that challenge and earn his place in Spain. There isn't, at least right now, a clear decision to return to England. Still, football is fluid, and when clubs the size of Manchester City appear, everything gets reconsidered. From City's side, the interest makes sense within a very specific logic. Pep Guardiola has always valued fullbacks with high technical quality, game intelligence, and elite build-up ability. Over the years, he has transformed the role, using players who step inside, help with first-phase possession, and create numerical superiority in midfield. Trent, at his peak, fits that profile perfectly. At Liverpool, he wasn't just a full-back who overlapped. He was a true wide playmaker, responsible for initiating moves, breaking lines with long passes, and deciding big moments. His numbers for assists, chances created, and direct goal involvement placed him among the most productive players in the position in league history. Of course, any move like this would involve massive figures and an extremely delicate negotiation, given both the player's past and the current situation at Real Madrid. That's why, so far, what exists are only early conversations, indirect feelers, and internal analysis. Still, the simple fact that City are monitoring the situation underlines a clear idea. The club have no intention of slowing down. That mindset becomes even clearer when you look at how the latest signings have already begun to affect the team. Marc Guéhi, for example, arrived and immediately brought calm and security. On his debut against Wolves, he showed defensive reading, strong positioning, and composure in build-up, traits Pep values deeply. Guardiola even made a point of publicly praising Guéhi's fast adaptation, highlighting leadership and tactical understanding. In Pep's view, top-level players absorb concepts more quickly and raise the standard of the group around them. That's exactly the feeling the defender gave in his first minutes. Antoine Semenyo is following a similar path. Since arriving, he's shown intensity, the ability to attack space, and, above all, the courage to take responsibility. The goal against Wolves wasn't just another one for his personal tally. It was a symbol that he already feels comfortable in the environment, understanding the movements and demands of the system. With that, City show they don't rely only on established stars. There's a balance between proven names and players who arrive hungry, ready to seize every opening. That creates a competitive atmosphere, something Pep considers essential to sustaining levels across such a long season. But perhaps the most emblematic story of this moment involves Omar Marmoush again. After time away due to AFCON and a few quieter weeks, he returned under pressure. The attack needed an answer, energy, and aggression, and he delivered all of it. Right at the start against Wolves, Marmoush showed why Pep keeps insisting on his attributes. He attacked the space with intelligence, timed his run perfectly, and finished with composure after Matheus Nunes' assist. It was a goal that not only opened the scoring, but also lifted a recent psychological weight from the team. After the final whistle, Guardiola didn't hold back his praise. He reminded everyone that when Marmoush first arrived at the club, the impact was immediate. He highlighted the intensity, off-ball movement, and striker's instincts. According to Pep, while many see Marmoush as a wide player, he views him much more as a modern number 9, capable of running in behind and thriving in transitions. That perspective helps explain why the manager sees him as such a valuable piece. In matches where City need to be more vertical and aggressive, Marmoush offers something different from Haaland. Not better, not worse, just different. And that tactical variety is gold for a coach who loves adapting to the opponent. The player himself made it clear after the match. He spoke about commitment, mentality, and collective spirit. He said the instruction was to fight for every ball, play with heart, and stay focused from the first minute to the last. For him, scoring mattered, but what mattered more was the team's response after a difficult spell. Marmoush also made sure to praise Matheus Nunes, highlighting the speed of the move and the vision of the pass. After an intense run of matches and the physical demands of AFCON, he admitted the goal brought a renewed feeling, as if he'd hit a mental and physical reset button. Now, naturally, the question turns to the next big game. Against Galatasaray, everything suggests Haaland returns to the starting gowns. Even so, Marmoush has planted a seed in Pep's mind. Performances like that don't go unnoticed, especially in a squad where no one's place is guaranteed. That may be the greatest strength of this Manchester City. There is no comfort zone. Difficult decisions get made, big names sit when necessary, opportunities open up for others, and those who respond earn more space. It's a constant cycle of demand and reward. Looking at the wider picture, it's clear City are heading into a decisive phase of the season with multiple narratives crossing at once. Managing Haaland and Foden's minutes, Semenyo's rise, Marmoush returning at a high level, Guehi settling instantly, and even rumors of a surprise market move. It all points to a club in permanent motion. Nothing is accidental. Every decision, every test, every behind-the-scenes conversation points towards a bigger objective, keeping City competitive at the highest level regardless of circumstances. Pep Guardiola remains faithful to his philosophy, demanding, meticulous, and always looking beyond the next match. And now, City fan, the floor is yours. Are City doing the right thing managing Haaland and Foden this way? Does Marmoush deserve more minutes in big matches? And would you actually want to see Trent Alexander-Arnold wearing sky blue in the future? If you enjoyed this content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on so you don't miss any updates about Manchester City. That supports the channel and makes sure you stay on top of everything happening behind the scenes at the club.